I'm Sarah Dawkins from Sarah Dawkins Essential Health. On the 7th of January 2023, we hosted the Heal Yourself online summit, where 15 experts in self-healing kindly gave up their time to impart their wisdom to audiences watching live on Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn. We've taken all of these live videos and made them available to you here, free on YouTube, for everyone to benefit. I hope you enjoy this and find it helpful. If you want to watch the rest of the speakers, you can do so here. Please don't forget to like and comment on this video and subscribe to my channel. If you want to find out more about myself, my journey and the journey of others through self-healing, you can visit my website at www.sdessentialhealth.com, and you can find my book Heal Yourself on Amazon. Links are in the description below. Thank you for your time. This is a clip of Lois Koffi, a transformational sales coach from Vista, California. She's talking to you about forgiveness and letting go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's such a humbling honor to be here today with you guys. Today, I'm going to have more of a philosophical conversation with you. I don't have any slides. I really want to open your mind, possibly blow your mind to forgiveness and letting go in a different way, just like Andrea was talking about. My hope is actually not so much to teach, but rather to give you a viewpoint on forgiveness by sharing my story and answering two questions for you as we go through this conversation. So I hope you have something to write with and to write on. First, I want to define forgiveness, and that can be a wide definition. Webster says that forgiveness is the action or process of forgiving or being forgiven, or stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, a flaw, or a mistake. I also say that it is a sign when you have a resentment that you have not forgiven an event, a person, place, or thing for harming you. And if you are no longer triggered, that wound, that resentment, that event, that person, place, thing has been healed. So today I want you to write down these two questions, and I'm going to guide you through answering these questions about forgiveness and letting go. So, and you can even just think about them. You don't have to write it down, but I believe writing down can deepen the lessons that you're going to walk away with today. So the two questions are, why is forgiveness and letting go so important? Why is forgiveness and letting go so important, especially talking about healing yourself, right? And number two, how does one get to that root wound or root cause that is that event, person, place, thing that caused the wound, that triggers you, and actually, I believe, holds you back from your fullest health and your fullest wealth in life. So how does one get to the root cause? So first of all, I want to share my story. My forgiveness and letting go realization journey started in December of 2020, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. The pandemic was a time for a lot of us, I think, to slow down and go inward and wake up. At that time, I was hitting my own proverbial rock bottom as a saleswoman, mother, wife, making tons of money, yet finding myself looking in the mirror and realizing I had become someone that I really wasn't. I was wearing a mask. I was in an unhealthy state of mind. I had become a binge drinking workaholic, lost in the chase of the hustle, being seen, being heard, being paid. And I couldn't put my figure on it. I had gained 30 pounds since my father died in 2018. I threw myself into a workaholism to mask my pain from not really realizing who I truly was or what I wanted in life. And at that time, I was 40. So you might say I had a bit of a midlife crisis. And I had found myself in a sales career selling things that weren't really my true nature and purpose. I was selling for the sake of selling. As a result, I felt like a bad mom, a bad wife. And I was like, how the hell did I get here? So I slowed down enough at the end of 2020, asking myself, and that put me into an 18-month journey of self-realization. Now, I don't know if you've been through that same journey. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to share if you feel called. For me, it was a painful, shadowy filled journey that I really asked myself, how did I get on that autopilot hamster wheel? How did I get here? And that was the question that would teach me the ways of forgiveness. And I know Andrea talked about this, self-love and self-compassion, because I had been so far removed from that. I had been so far removed as I went on this journey, realizing, waking up, becoming conscious that I had a lot of programming from childhood trauma, even society. In being in sales for 20 years at that time, I've been in sales for 23 years, and I've coached thousands and thousands and thousands of people in that arena. There's a very masculine dominant world. So I had started chasing success based on external factors. And thankfully, that time, since I knew that wasn't bringing me happiness anymore, I found a mentor who told me to read the book, The Surrender Experiment. Has anybody read that book? It's by Michael Singer, again, The Surrender Experiment. And in that book, he reminded me what I already knew, that I had become a human doing. I wasn't looking inside of myself for my answers. I was looking outside of myself. Materialism, coaches, mentors, stuff, right? Busyness. So I decided to go on a journey of total surrender and wave that white flag, as I call it, of just not knowing. I know I needed help. And I found a spiritual mentor who told me, you got to slow down, create more spaciousness in the next few months. And that's what led me to find I needed to forgive myself. For I believe until you forgive yourself, you can't forgive others. And so what I did was I started really questioning, where did this doingness come from? And taking personal responsibility. That's a huge one in forgiveness, is taking that personal responsibility for, how did I get here? How did I choose to pile on grief, self-judgment, and not have compassion or forgiveness for myself? And what I discovered is forgiveness is a very feminine energy. If you think about feminine versus masculine, it's a loving, motherly energy that I had missed and forgotten due to not having a mother growing up myself. That was part of my childhood trauma, and was raised by a single father. And so I was really, my safe place to go was the masculine, the logic, the numbers, the doing. And so I was way out of balance. So I share that story because I feel like the whole world has found themselves in a similar, and I've talked to thousands of people since the pandemic, and I've seen a lot of people. I got to have the perfect landing page, right? I got to do more calls. I got to do more lead generation. I got to do more sales, right? To be fulfilled. And I realized at that time, I needed to balance out with the feminine energy, with compassion, love, and go inside of myself. Very similar to what Andrea just talked about. So once I made that realization, in recalibrating, rebalancing actually the two hemispheres of the brain, you have a masculine and a feminine hemispheres inside yourself, I could start the healing process. And what I learned was, the reason that I felt so dead inside and not fulfilled, even though I had lots of money, and I had started creating dis-ease within myself. I had manifested an autoimmune disease inside of myself. I had gained those 30 pounds. I didn't sleep well. I had all of these things, all of this evidence, right? It was because I had stuffed down my fear, my anger, my shame, zero forgiveness for myself. And I was holding on to those past resentments. When I defined forgiveness at the beginning, it's really about, if you haven't forgiven, you're holding on to past resentments. And I wasn't allowing myself to allow those resentments to be seen, be heard, because I thought my masculine, thinking was, I can't allow those things to come up. I can't let people see me cry. Never let them see you sweat. Again, that's the masculine energy. My mentors told me, You can't actually feel positive emotions without allowing the negative. It's part of our humanness. It's part of our beingness. It's part of our brain, our whole essence, our whole being. Because it's a duality. We have both darkness and light inside of us. And so I decided to go on that journey of shadow work, no longer seeing it as a sign of weakness. And I also couldn't do that without recognizing who and what I needed to forgive. So I'm sharing this with you, and I'm going to ask you a question about your own resentments in a second. So I would lie awake sleepless nights at times, trying to figure out, where is this coming from? And through meditation and through an exercise that I'm going to share with you here before I finish up, I realized I had been holding on to resentments from a business failure I had in 2007 when I lost everything in the Great Recession. I even became homeless for a year. I had my bank accounts cleaned out, had my car repossessed the day before my 30th birthday, and I had all these expectations and beliefs that I was going to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. So that was a very different experience, right? My expectations were not realized. And I felt so much judgment from family, business partners, left me holding the bag. My bank accounts had been cleaned out as a result. And I felt a lot of judgment, self-judgment that I carried that I didn't realize was also triggering childhood wounds of shame, abandonment, feeling alone. And unfortunately, or fortunately, because I believe it happened for me, I held on to those for 14 years through the end of 2020 and beginning of 2021. It was those judgments, resentments that I was holding on to that drove me on that hamster wheel, that held me hostage, that held me down. My vibration was low. I never learned how to forgive. I never got to the root cause. And that, over time, the compound effect led me to trauma responses of people pleasing, overcommitting, overworking, overdrinking, overeating, not doing the healthy habits that Andrea was talking about. I used to be an Ironman triathlete. I let all of that go. So I was trying to fill a void of not being enough and running from my anger, running from the shame, trying to just focus on the light instead of the shadow. And so, ironically, and this is why this is important, you guys, why history repeats itself, because I didn't forgive and let go of those events, I kept choosing business partners, clients, friends, relationships, even seeing my husband and other events that amplified my not enoughness. So that just piled on more resentments, and I was totally unconscious to it. It was a vicious cycle. It's kind of like when someone says, I've been married 5 times to the same person, but it was really the wounds that was driving that person to choose the same partner over and over again, expecting a different result. But it was because of the internal lack of forgiveness and compassion and letting go that those events kept happening over and over again. So let me ask you this. Has that ever happened for you? Do you have any unresolved resentments toward events, family, maybe business partners, life partners, maybe a divorce, that may be unconsciously driving your daily decisions? Think about that. Do you have any unresolved resentments, events, family, partners that may be unconsciously driving your daily decisions? If you think of one, write it down. We're going to use that in a meditation that I'm going to finish up with here shortly. I realize I don't want to run out of time. And think about what emotions. Like for me, I felt anger, shame, resentment. Recognizing that event, person, place, or thing, representing what it caused for you. For me, it was also not enoughness. I felt like I wasn't enough. Because of these losses, I had to go and do and prove myself. So moving along, I got to learn I learned to walk through my fears. I found coaches and mentors to help me walk through this path because it cannot be done alone. Please don't try to do this on your own. And through that process and an exercise I'm going to take you through next, I learned to hold myself in the fear. the shame, the resentment, the not enoughness, not chasing it away. I found that loving myself, having compassion and forgiveness, those fears, those people and experiences created those bad feelings again was key. That was my experience. Once I released and loved them and let them go, I started to feel bliss and joy again. My ego started to dissolve and my mind chatter, the monkey mind, started to disappear as well. As I gave myself permission to healing and forgiving myself, because goes along with the theme of this beautiful summit, I was able to let go consciously of those unhealthy patterns. I lost 30 pounds. I found my true nature and purpose. I wasn't afraid to use my voice. My autoimmune disease is in my throat. So that meant I was afraid to speak my truth. My digestive issues I've had my whole life disappeared. I created a healthy relationship with alcohol and food. I relearned how to nourish myself through exercise, yoga. I healed my marriage and relationship with my children. And my view of the world changed forever. So that's why forgiveness is so important and letting go so you can heal yourself. Second question, before we move on to the meditation, how does one get to the root cause of that? I can probably talk for 5 more hours on how I did it, but I want to share with you a tool in Colin Tipping's book, Radical Forgiveness. He said radical means getting to the root cause in order to truly let go, forgive, and heal. He blew my mind and he reminded me of something, but it was a paradigm shift that I had really not lost sight of because of my masculine doing this. He says, from a spiritual, metaphysical perspective, radical forgiveness means that nothing wrong ever happened to you or me. We chose these bodies, these soul journeys here on earth school. We chose our ancestors. We chose our parents. We chose through soul contracts, the people, places, and things that have hurt us, that have caused us harm. We came here as compassionate, loving souls to this earth school to live a life filled with lessons, to remember who we truly are, which is love, light, and human beings. So think about that for a second. Look at all the hurts, events of your life, and remember your soul journey was these things happened for you, not to you. So I want to help you right now do a quick cognitive shift. I realize I got like 5-6 minutes. I want to help you get to the root cause, rewiring your brain back into balance. I call it superconscious healing. If you see my background, it's all about the superconscious. It's our soul, a quantum level of consciousness that is here before we came into these bodies and will be here when we leave. It's our heart mind, the seat of our loving compassion. This is a place where you get to be curious, not judgmental, not blaming, but curious, kind to yourself, compassionate about why these things happen for you. So as I was able to release a lot of the root cause from my ancestral stuff, because we have ancestral trauma as well, 7 generations plus back on both of our sides of both parents. And then we have this lifetime's events, right? I won't even get into past lives because we don't have enough time. So I want you to write down, this is really important, write down what it is that you want to forgive or what it is that you want to heal. So write down something, whether it's a health goal, a relationship, maybe prosperity and abundance. What is it that you want to let go, forgive, and heal? Write it down. And you can always come back to the recording, okay, and do this again. And normally I take about 15 minutes for this, but we're only going to take 5. So not thinking about dis-ease that runs in your family, right? Because I had that one. Autoimmune disease and alcoholism ran in my family, right? You can let that go. So write down again, relationship, health, or money. And now write down what is maybe that limiting belief or self-sabotaging behavior that is holding you back from achieving that health or that wealth or that ideal relationship. Is it a judgment of yourself? Is it maybe even a religious wound? a way you're supposed to be? Was it a life event, a divorce? If you can, if it's not any of those, you can even just think, is it like me? I felt not enough. So I was trying to fill myself up with a lot of things that didn't serve me. Is it the need to be perfect? Is it you don't feel worthy? What is that shadowy element? I'm going to give you a few moments of silence to think about it. Not enough, not capable, person, place, or thing that really hurt you. And then for sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and move on. I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. We're just going to take like 3 to 4 minutes, okay? Close your eyes, spine fully erect. And this is something you can do anywhere as long as you're not driving. Take a deep breath in. Go ahead, inhale, count of 4 in through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. Sip in a little bit more. And then let it all go. And I want you to think about what you truly desire in life right now, whether it's ideal health, ideal weight, medication free, maybe an ideal relationship, ideal prosperity, whatever it is. Keeping the mind as quiet as you can, holding that ideal, that desire in your heart. In fact, put your left hand on your heart. I want you to see, smell, taste, feel, intend, imagine yourself living that fullest health, that fullest wealth, that fullest relationship. See what bubbles up for you. See if you can get into your body. Embodiment is so key. Seeing maybe colors, people, places, or things. I'll just give you a few moments of silence to imagine that ideal. Seeing it expand in its fullest form, like a big white light from your heart, expanding all the way out beyond you, 9 feet in all directions, and this big white sphere, this protective bubble, shining your light out to the world, living your best health, your best wealth, your best, fullest wisdom. Next, just for less than maybe 30 seconds, I want you to see that shadow element, that resistance, that not enoughness, that not worthiness, that person, place, or thing that hurt you, that maybe you hinder or hold resentment towards. See it, smell it, taste it, feel it, acknowledging it. Stay there for a few moments. See what bubbles up for you. What is your inner child wanting you to hear, see, imagine? And now, I want you to imagine, and you may notice in your body also, notice where you're feeling any stuckness, any energy, any pain. Right now I'm feeling a little bit in my upper chest, so I'm going to put my right hand there. Wherever you put your hand, whether it's on your stomach, anywhere that is possibly accessible to you, otherwise just keeping your left hand in your heart. I'm going to tap into my superconscious. I want you to tap into your heart space or your superconscious energy, your wholeness, your completeness, your perfection of your soul. And imagine a big violet flame coming out from the palm of your hands into your body. This violet flame represents compassion, love, forgiveness. Sending it into your heart space, sending it into your navel, sending it into your third eye, pouring this violet flame in from up above your crown chakra, flooding every part of your being, your cells, your DNA, your ancestral roots, collapsing all timelines, asking your superconscious to bless and release that which no longer serves you. For whatever was shown to you today is a part of your path that happened for you. Asking your superconscious, how can I take action in alignment with my heart, my true self today, in the next 24 hours, to deepen this healing, to bless and release and let go of any forgiveness, resentment, shame, anger, jealousy, pain. Seeing what bubbles up for you in this moment, any thoughts, feelings, actions that are in alignment with your higher self. Again, flooding yourself with this love, this violet flame, this compassion, this forgiveness, just for a few more seconds. Go ahead and take a deep breath. Inhale, count of 4 through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. Sip in a little more. And then exhale out loud with a sigh. And slowly coming back, opening your eyes if you haven't already. And let me know how that felt for you. Let me know any thoughts, feelings, questions. Feel free to comment below. I know my time is up, and I just want to let you guys know that I will be giving you guys a free 5-day health and vitality challenge that you can participate in, where we can take this, where we started today, and completely radically heal through 5 days, January 24th through 28th. So I hope you can join me for that. And I also have a 30-day free subscription to my Healthy and Wealthy and Wise subscription community, where we do classes like this at a much deeper level, of course, helping you forgive, heal, let go, be nurtured, nourishing to yourself, and go inward to really remember who you truly are.